All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Skytown, everything Chicago Sky-related podcast, brought to you by the All Sports, All Plays Network. If you haven't checked them out already, definitely give them a follow, depending on where you're watching this right now. If you're watching this on the Skytown podcast, if you're watching this on my own Facebook Live right now, or wherever you may be listening to this, definitely give the All Sports, All Plays Network a shout-out. Definitely show them some love. Give me a follow anywhere down there if you feel the need to. If you like talking to me, if you want more conversations, if you want to ask questions for future videos, definitely give that a shout out real quick. But we have not made a video in quite some time. We have not talked about the Chicago Sky. I have not been at the games as of recent. I had a lot going on. My sister just had a baby, so that's pretty cool. Shout out to my sister and my brother-in-law. Shout out to Anthony. And, you know, obviously with Father's Day and everything else going on, everything's just been pretty busy. I don't have a dad, but you know, whatever. It's been busy at the Hughes house, none to say the least. But with that being said, you know, we have a lot to talk about today. We have two games to recap, an overtime win for the Chicago Sky, two back-to-back wins. The Chicago Sky beat the Atlanta Dream, who are currently sitting at 7-8 now, 106-100 after overtime. It was an amazing game. More so this episode, instead of going into the individual stats of every single game, we're obviously going to go through that. But it's definitely going to be a situation to where we're just going to talk about how the Sky have been playing as of recent in both games combined. So let's get through the stats really quick of the first game against the Atlanta Dream, pardon me. Parker, not our Parker. Well, kind of. She did play CP32, not CP3. If you remember her, she was on the Chicago Sky for quite some time. 35 minutes, 16 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds. Ryan Howard, who is an absolute unit in this league, had 16, 7, and 4, and 29. Coffey had 0, 0, and 4, and 12. Wallace had 3, 2, and 2, and 11. McDonald had 26, and 5, and 43 minutes. Obviously, if they would have won this game, she definitely would have been player of the game. Durr had 21, 3, and 3, and 32. Hillman had 6, 0, and 6, and 26. Billings had 6, 0, and 4, pardon me, and 15. Shologum, I butchered her name, but what? I ain't even going to try. Slocum had 10, 2, and 2, and 17. Monopoler had 2, 0, and 3, and 7. Butchered those two last names, but honestly, I've never heard them said, so that's not my fault. But in all seriousness, Stevens had an amazing game, 15, 3, and 6 in 32 minutes. Ka had 23, 3, and 10 in 36 for the double-double. Another double-double. Emma Miesemann, 17, 3, and 12 in 38, continuing her big stretch. Allie Quigley, 17, 0, and 1 in 23. Courtney Vandersloot had 11, 4, and 6 in 28. Julie had 0, 5, and 0 in 13. She's still trying to find her role in this offense, but she'll get there. 15, 5, and 3 in 22 from Rebecca Gardner. Amazing defense. Dana Evans, 0, 0, and 1 in 13 again. We're going to talk about that in a little bit about what's been going on with Dana. It's just kind of been confusing me, but Ruthie had 4, 1, and 6 in 15, and Lee had 4, 0, 2, and 4 minutes. Candace Parker did not play this game. Obviously, she's dealing with this knee injury, her knee's upset. It's not a declared injury, by the Chicago Sky yet or James Wade, but it's definitely just giving her some rest. Now against the Indiana Fever, the Sky lost this game, which was very upsetting, 87-89. Really upset about it, but nonetheless, it was a tight game. Stevens had 5, 2, and 1 in 21. Ka had 28, 2, and 4 in 31. So I love seeing Ka just be able to kind of be that energy, be that spark with Candace not being there. Emma Miesemann had 12, 4, and 8 in 33. Quigley had 8, 2, and 1 in 26. Courtney Vandersloot had 13, 7, and 2 in 25. Julie had 3, 3, and 0 in 15. Lee had 2, 0, and 2 in 6. Rebecca Gardner had 8, 0, and 2 in 18. Dana Evans 2, 0, and 1 in 6. And Ruthie had 6, 1, and 6 in 20. But overall, it was a pretty solid game. Smith had 26 and 11. Mitchell had 13 and 9. I mean, Hall had 10 points, which is uncharacteristic for her. Cannon had 11 points, which I didn't see that coming into this game. Smith had 26 and 11, like I said. But for the majority of this team against the Indiana Fever, and even against the Atlanta Dream, it's Candace's presence is definitely being felt of not being there. That's definitely something that I feel like, we're looking at right now and having this understanding. What's up, JV? But we're having this understanding right now, with the Chicago Sky, that we are a great team. We are a great team. We're 10-5 on the season. Not tripping about it whatsoever. It's definitely a conversation where if they would have started the season fully healthy and fully chemistrized, if that's a word, then they could be probably something around 12-3. I guess you could say maybe 13-2. I mean, best case scenario. Stuttering a lot today. I've been gone too long. It won't happen again. But it's definitely that conversation right now of, Candace Parker not being there. That presence was obviously felt, especially against the Indiana Fever, a team that, 5-13, you shouldn't be losing that game. Regardless if Candace is there or not, you shouldn't be losing that game. But nonetheless, it happens. Games like that happen. Azrae Stevens having only 6 points or 5 points, pardon me. It's definitely a part of it. Dana Evans, whatever has been going on with Dana Evans as of lately, I don't know. It's either a slump or an injury, a nagging injury could potentially be an issue. It's definitely a conversation I feel like we're going to start to have if this continues to go into the month of July. But Dana's a sharpshooter. Dana is amazing at what she does, and I don't expect this to be a long time issue. It's definitely going to be something to where, we're looking at it right now is, how good are these women going to be by the end of the season, and not by how talented or how good are they going to be together, but more so how healthy are they going to be. That's the main goal right now for the Chicago Sky, is just getting into the postseason healthy. We didn't give a shit about the record last year. I still personally don't really care. Obviously, with that win against the Atlanta Dream, they advanced to the Commissioner's Cup. And that's awesome. They're most likely going to be playing Becky Hammon and the Las Vegas Aces. So I have the Vegas Aces winning that series, winning the entire cup. But at the same time, I really don't care about the Commissioner's Cup. No disrespect. It's great. They get the grand prize and everything goes on with that. And that's awesome. Don't get it twisted. Excuse me. But it's just not the end goal. It's not the end goal at all. We're so close to the All-Star game, which is going to be in the All-Star break, which is July 10th. So I'm super excited for that. Obviously Dana can rest up. Obviously, Courtney can that rest up, and everybody else as well. Candace, the list goes on. Dana. What we're really looking at right now is just this second half of the season and really just getting involved with that. I don't really have a lot to talk about today because there really hasn't been much to talk about. Now, the Courtney Vandersloot and Allie Quigley kind of tandem, not tandem, they're obviously a tandem, but taking Rebecca Gardner under her wing, taking Dana Evans under their wing, I feel like has been huge. And especially Ka emerging as this superstar that we know she can be in spite of Candace Parker not being there, is huge for me. Emma Mieseman finally finding her role. James Wade, he seems happier than ever with this roster. So I'm super excited for what that means. Obviously, it's not translating into the wins that we want. Especially against teams like the Indiana Fever, of all teams, 5-13. That's awful. 4-13 going into that game. Like that's a win we need to have when we're a 10-4 team. That's without question. Shouldn't even be a conversation. But with that being said, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about this team. I'm not worried about the issues of this team. Obviously, this episode is going to be a lot shorter. Like I said, I got a lot going on. I'm trying to get these episodes out as fast as I can for you guys. But that's really all I got today. I think, depending on the Candace Parker situation, which I don't think is going to be as big as some people might view it out to be. Obviously your knee is a serious injury. And it could seriously lead to other things. But I think at the end of the day, we need to understand and have a real conversation with ourselves. That we're just patient right now. We're patient right now. And Ka just got Player of the Week for the Eastern Conference, which WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Congratulations to Ka. She's been hooping for real in the absence of Candace Parker and in the absence of Dana Evans. And at times Azrae Stevens and other members of this bench. Julie is still not found herself. Lee is still finding her role. So it's definitely something to right now. I'm not tripping at all. I think this team is going to be great. And like James said, it's about the end goal. It's not about right now. So keep that same energy. If you feel down on us right now, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're in the same boat when it comes down to it in the playoffs, because as long as these women are healthy going into the playoffs, the sky is the limit. No pun intended, but that's the reality of the situation. I feel like so many people right now, oh, well, they just lost to Atlanta. Oh, they just lost to Indiana. They just lost. Like, dude, let's be real. No one gives a shit. No one cares. No one on this roster is going to be like, damn, that was the moment that we lost the season. That's the moment we lost the locker room. That's the moment, CP requested a trade. None of that's going to happen. None of that's going to happen. I've been seeing comments going crazy. We shouldn't be losing these games. And that's very true. It is. But got to give credit where credit is due. Indiana came to play. There's a target on our back every single game because we are the defending champs. But with that being said, just take on the brakes. Take on the brakes is all I could say right now, is because right now the Chicago Sky are in a very good position going into the All-Star break. Just got to get a couple individuals healthy, get back under our feet, and then we'll be good. We'll be good. So with that being said, I just want everybody to chill out. Obviously, the Chicago Sky play the Las Vegas Aces tonight at 9 p.m. Central. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one, especially if Candace doesn't play in that game. But that's all we got for you guys tonight. Obviously, we're going to be doing a breakdown show tonight, hopefully with interviews from Las Vegas Aces players and Chicago Sky players. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening. There will be a longer and a better show coming tonight. Please tune in for the show tonight. I promise you, I will break down more. It'll be better than this one. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening. This is Mike Hughes from Mike on the Mic and the All Sports, All Plays Network. Peace.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.